The life journey of a panda, specifically the giant panda, or Ailuropoda melanoleuca, is marked by several stages, each with its unique challenges. Pandas face a range of difficulties at various points in their lives, many of which are linked to their specialized diet, slow reproduction rate, and their natural habitat in the mountainous forests of China. Throughout their lives, giant pandas face numerous challenges, including habitat loss, low reproductive rates, and a specialized diet. These factors contribute to their vulnerable status and the ongoing conservation efforts to protect this iconic species. Birth from 0 to 1 month. Newborn pandas are born in spring around July or August, after a gestation period of about 5 months. Newborn pandas are extremely tiny compared to their mothers, weighing about 100 to 200 grams, which is about 1/900th of the mother's weight. They are born blind, hairless, and completely dependent on their mother. At birth, their survival depends entirely on the mother's care. They are unable to regulate their body temperature. At birth, they are blind, hairless, with pink skin, toothless, and entirely helpless. Due to their small size, newborn pandas are highly vulnerable to environmental conditions and predators. Their survival is almost entirely dependent on the mother's nurturing and warmth. Initially, the mother's milk is the only source of nutrition. Given that pandas have low reproductive rates, the birth of twins, which is common, can create a difficult situation. In the wild, mothers will usually abandon one of the twins, as they can't care for both effectively. In captivity, caregivers often intervene to help ensure both survive. Being born at such an underdeveloped stage, the infant panda faces a high risk of mortality in the first few weeks. The mother panda cradles her cub in her paw and rarely leaves the den for the first few days after birth. Over the next few months, the cub undergoes rapid development. Soft gray fur appears within the first month, and black and white coloration develops. Infancy, from 1 to 6 months. This period lasts from 1 month to about 6 months. Eyes open at around 6 to 8 weeks. Ear canals open at about 2 months. Crawling begins at around 3 months. At around 1 month old, panda cubs begin to open their eyes and start developing basic motor skills. By 2 to 3 months, cubs start to grow fur and become more active, attempting to crawl and explore. By 5 to 6 months, the panda cubs begin to consume small amounts of bamboo. Although their mother's milk remains the primary source of nutrition, the cub continues to rely on its mother for protection, warmth, and milk. Separation from the mother too early can lead to the cub's death. Cubs are vulnerable to developmental issues, as they are born so underdeveloped. Physical and motor skill challenges can affect their ability to become independent. The mother has to invest a lot of time and energy into her cub's care. In the wild, where food is scarce, mothers may not have the energy to care for the cub for long periods, which can hinder the cub's chances of survival. Juvenile, from 6 months to around 3 years old. By 1 year, the cub is usually weaned from its mother's milk and starts eating more bamboo, though it may still rely on milk for nutrition. Cubs at this stage become more independent, starting to venture further from their mothers and engaging in play and exploration. Panda cubs begin to develop the climbing skills essential for survival, and they become more adept at navigating their environment. The switch from milk to bamboo can be difficult, as bamboo is low in nutrients, and pandas have to adapt their digestive system to process it. Bamboo requires a lot of time and effort to eat, and it can be hard for a juvenile panda to consume enough to sustain its growth. The cub faces challenges in learning to find food on its own, as it takes time to perfect the technique of breaking and eating bamboo. This is an essential survival skill for when they become fully independent. Juvenile pandas are generally solitary animals, but they learn important social behaviors from their mothers. Lack of socialization could affect their ability to thrive as adults. Young adult, from about 3 to 6 years old. Giant pandas reach sexual maturity between 4 and 6 years of age. However, there are significant challenges in panda reproduction. Females are fertile only once a year for 2 to 3 days in spring. The gestation period is relatively short, lasting 3 to 5 months. Cubs are usually born in late summer, around August. Females typically give birth to a single cub every 2 to 3 years. Reproductive challenges include a low birth rate and infrequent breeding opportunities, a high infant mortality rate, and the limited number of cubs a female can raise in her lifetime, which is 4 to 6 at most. At this stage, pandas become fully independent and start to establish their own home range. They develop the distinctive black and white pattern that makes them easily recognizable. Their diet is now almost entirely bamboo, but they may also consume small animals or eggs, though this is rare. They continue to adapt to their bamboo-dominated diet. This stage marks sexual maturity. Female pandas typically reach sexual maturity at 4 to 5 years old, while males mature slightly later. Low reproductive success is a significant challenge. Pandas are known for having a very low reproductive rate. Females only go into estrus, or heat, once a year, for only 2 to 3 days, which makes mating opportunities limited. This often leads to difficulties in reproduction and can be a challenge in both wild and captive populations. Bamboo scarcity is another issue. As adults, pandas need large quantities of bamboo to survive, approximately 26 to 84 pounds a day. Bamboo forests are not always abundant, and habitat loss due to human activity is a significant threat. This creates challenges in finding sufficient food. Lastly, loneliness and territorial issues arise. Pandas are solitary animals, but when young adults start to establish their own territory, conflicts with other pandas over space and resources are common. Middle age, from 6 to 15 years. During this period, middle-aged pandas continue their solitary existence, spending most of their time eating and resting. They may still reproduce during this period if they find a mate during the brief estrus period. However, like most animals, pandas experience a decline in health as they age. Joint problems and the effects of a bamboo-based diet, which is low in nutrition, can lead to weakening bones and muscles. Female pandas become less fertile as they age, and even though males may remain fertile, the low likelihood of successful reproduction increases with age. Increased human encroachment on their habitat means bamboo forests are being reduced, leaving pandas to compete for limited resources. If the forests are depleted, pandas face hunger, and the struggle for survival intensifies. Old age, from 15 to 30 years. In the wild, giant pandas typically live up to 20 years, while those in captivity can survive up to 30 years. The oldest recorded panda lived to 38 years in captivity. Challenges in later life include decreased fertility and the ability to reproduce, potential health issues related to aging, and increased vulnerability to environmental pressures and habitat loss. Throughout their lives, giant pandas face numerous challenges, including habitat loss, low reproductive rates, and a specialized diet. These factors contribute to their vulnerable status and the ongoing conservation efforts to protect this iconic species. Older pandas slow down significantly, sleeping more and spending most of their time eating bamboo. Their reproduction ceases, and their physical health may continue to decline, as they have fewer resources for repairs and growth. As pandas age, their ability to digest bamboo decreases, and they may suffer from diseases or complications related to their age, such as arthritis or dental issues, making it harder for them to consume enough food. Old pandas are highly vulnerable to environmental stresses, especially in the wild. Their slow movement and decreased ability to fend for themselves make them easy targets for predation and significantly reduce their chances of survival. Death. Most pandas in the wild live to 20 years, though some may reach older ages in captivity. In the wild, pandas face the risk of injury, predation, or disease, especially as they age. Their ability to fend for themselves weakens, and they may become less able to find adequate food or defend their territory. In captivity, pandas can live longer, with proper care, but health problems due to old age, including organ failure or complications from poor nutrition, can still cause death. In conclusion, the life of a panda is marked by significant challenges at every stage, from birth to old age. Whether it's ensuring survival as a newborn, adapting to a bamboo diet, or dealing with the pressures of a shrinking habitat, pandas face many hurdles in their life journey. Conservation efforts, including habitat preservation and breeding programs, have helped improve their chances of survival. But their specialized nature still makes them vulnerable to various environmental and biological threats.